for the Green Bay Packers in all 22. They fall to the Chicago Bears. Overall thoughts that you had before we dive into some of these plays, Chew?
Sloppy all around. Sloppy by the players, sloppy by the coaches. Um, for a rivalry game, I thought they came out very flat. I mean, in the end, it really didn't matter because Washington won, but Washington was behind that whole game, and it really would have been a crying shame if Washington lost and they lost this opportunity to get the number 6 seed instead of 7.
All right, let's dive into some of these plays. Where I want to start here, Chew, is this is a third down play early in the game. A lot of these are going to be early in the game with Jordan Love still in. But early play ends up being an incomplete pass, and I think it just kind of shows how out of sync they were kind of heading into this game. What do you see here on this play? Jordan Love eventually bails out of the pocket and just throws one at the feet of Tucker Kraft.
Well, to me, they're playing a version of man-to-man. And this has been, Jordan mentioned it a couple weeks ago. When you have man-to-man coverage or what turns out to be kind of a hybrid zone, which turns out kind of be man-to-man, guys got to get open and give him a chance. And if you look here, my critique of LaFleur is it's 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7. If you rewind it a little bit, Gabe, look at how deep these routes are. Especially the 2 receivers. All right. I don't know if the outside guy is supposed to be breaking it right here, but you certainly don't need a 15-yard route. I mean, you need 6 yards. And to me, I think it was a bad play call. And the execution obviously was not good. He had time, but if you're running, 8-yard routes instead of 15-yard routes, you probably have a chance. So I put this on the coaches as well as the players.
Yeah, it's
just a bad.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see it better here from what I saw. I mean, Jordan's obviously looking to his left, even though Kraft broke open to his right. Might have been able to pick up a first down, but he was looking to the other side of the field. Play had no chance. This one I think is just embarrassing for everybody involved. So I wanted to dive into your special teams expertise. For those who don't know, you spent a time in your career as the long snapper for the Green Bay Packers. So my question around this, because I mean, we could just roll it. It's embarrassing. When you're in the huddle and you're going to punt it, do you know which side? It's like punt left, punt right. So the guy should know where the ball is going. And instead of chasing down DJ Moore here on the right, they should have known the punt was going to the left, correct?
Yes, we used a directional punt back in the day, and it was a little different back in the day because you could ear hole guys. You can't ear hole guys anymore. So as the center, I'm directly at the ball, right? So what I would do is as soon as I release 5 yards down the field, I'd give it a quick look up to see if I could see the ball. Most times I could. But it's the responsibility of the safety valves and the punter to alert these guys the direction of the punt.
Yeah, I mean, this is the angle. I mean, obviously now Whelan's out, but everybody's kind of flowing over to the left where DJ Moore is, and then you'll see, I mean, there's just nobody over there. That's like absolutely one person kind of saw it coming. And that was
especially with that rule change, Gabe. I mean, not everyone needs to be looking up to see the direction of the punt, but certainly some guys do. I mean, if you look at this back wall, number 30 here, are the guy, and these guys here on the left side of the screen, they're clueless.
Yeah.
And ultimately the punter's got to be running down the field. It's kind of the same as when you're receiving a punt and it's bouncing around, you're yelling, Peter, Peter, Peter. I mean, this just goes to, is this team really ready to play? Were they into this game, which is a rivalry game? And my answer would be no. But this trickles all the way from the special teams coach to the cover unit. Because like you said at the start of this play, it's embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
That's the only way this play works, is if the team you are playing is embarrassed. And that's what I think kind of happened there. This is one of the positive plays, but I also feel like it had potential to be more. This is a big catch by Luke Musgrave, initially called incomplete. LaFleur won his only challenge of the year as this one got overturned.
Yeah, it's just emotion. If I could critique Musgrave, the only thing I don't like about this is see how he rounds the thing?
Yeah.
He rounds it at the top. He should be putting his foot in because Jordan's ready really to throw the ball right now and he's not into his route. I think I think what this game really showed me is the receivers, there's no attention to detail. They get sloppy. You could see how he fades away there. He's lucky he caught the ball because Jordan probably was thinking that he was coming flat. So if he was coming flat, he wouldn't have had to go down and get that ball. They're certainly in this game not doing anything to help Jordan Love out. And if I was the tight end coach, I was saying, you got to break that flat. Don't round it at the top because he wants you on the 30 breaking it flat or 35 breaking it flat. His drifting causes him to go down because Jordan's like throwing it to a spot and he's not in that spot. That's why they make this look a lot tougher than it should be.
So yeah, just to kind of take a look here at the top. I mean, when he starts kind of turning around, Chewy, it's at like the 30-yard line, and then he just kind of keeps drifting and eventually catches it around the 23. Like it's a 7-yard drift.
It's attention to detail, and like I said, they're not doing anything to help Jordan out. Because my guess is that play is probably a 12-yard in, which turns into a 17-yard. I don't think people realize how difficult that is for the quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
If you're running an 18-yard dig that's supposed to be at 14, that's tough on the quarterback. These guys got to make it easier for him, and I think that's why Jordan said that about the receivers a couple of weeks ago. There's got to be better attention to detail.
This was one of my favorite run plays for Josh Jacobs before he left the game. And I think this just kind of shows how different and creative we've seen the Packers with their run game, because we've seen at times Chris Brooks kind of serve as a fullback out of shotgun, and they'll do some motion where, they'll get Josh Jacobs behind Jordan Love in the shotgun, then he runs behind Chris Brooks. But this is just, it's a little basic, I think, counter play here, Chew, but they've got Jaden Reed going into motion. You got the fake handoff there, Love doing a 360, handing it off. I love the play the way this play looked and the way it turned out.
It's a great play because they run so much toss to read and jet sweeps, and they do a lot of different things with them. So they have to pay attention to them, and then they come back and run a trap the other way. The most important thing about traps is timing. If you watch this, it times up when you're pulling tight end and you're pulling guard. That's how it's supposed to be. Bing, bing. It's all about timing. If one guy's late, then it screws the whole play off. That's why the guard and tight end have to be in sync, which they are here. And turns out to be a great run by good patience by Josh Jacobs too.
Yeah, because just a little, just a little fake handoff, spin, and then bam, bam, sealing that. That's so much fun. Play. All right, Chew. How the hell does this happen? Last play of the game defensively. You can see it here. It's 3rd and 11, right? And you don't probably care about down and distance, I guess, unless it's 4th down in this situation. But there's 15 seconds left. They're clearly playing boundary, and this is just eye candy. The Bears get exactly what they want with the Packers playing this deep, and that's Carrington Valentine right here. He's got no chance. He's got no chance on this. I just don't understand how this happened.
Well, I think Hafley had a little clock mismanagement there. I don't know whether he was thinking the last thing they could do was toss it up deep. Clearly, there's a 15 seconds in the NFL is an eternity. They knew they had no timeout, so they were, like you said, clearly playing boundary. But this is just, you can't blame the players here. You got to blame the coach. This is just a lapse. It's a bad call. And it resulted in them losing the game. But the one positive, Gabe, if there is a positive, is that it happened this week. Yeah. And didn't happen against Philadelphia. So hopefully they go clean this up. Hafley, I'm sure, learned a lesson, as did LaFleur on some of his plays. And I think they know they have to play a lot better than this in order to have a chance.
It was a different era, obviously, when you played. And you guys had a healthy respect, if not fear, of Mike Holmgren. If you ever got a call like this late in the game that you knew was dumb, and I know you played offense, so it's completely different, would you guys ever go, no, we're not going to do that, we're going to do something else?
No, because you would like to. And I'm not going to lie, not towards the end of the game, but in the middle of the games, calls would come in and you'd scratch your head. and wonder why the hell they're calling that. Because you know what? Like coaches make mistakes too.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a 40-second clock, but all the stuff that happens has to happen within that 40 seconds. They make mistakes. And that's all this was. But ultimately, you have to do what the coach tells you, or you're going to get your ass ripped.
Especially if Mike Holmgren is your head coach. That's the lesson to learn.
Yes.
That's our review of the Bears game. We'll be back next week. Hopefully it's after a Packers win as they get ready for the postseason against the Eagles.